I don't think you have to look for it too hard or think about it too hard. I guess you know it. The fuel of everything I've ever done is love. The Mauritian people, they are incredible. Like, we just have this warmth inside of us that we will travel, we will go anywhere, and we'll be like, damn, we got that sun inside of us. This is something we should be so proud of. So I just love singing about it.
I love the bit where you talk about change being uncomfortable, because it could also be a good thing, but makes you uncomfortable.
I guess when you're uncomfortable or when you fear or when you're anxious, it's just like the universe touching you like that and saying, it's time to grow. I was like really doubting myself at that point and thinking if the way that I'm going as an artist is the right one. And then I stumbled upon this quote that said, there's no right way. Take the pressure off and focus on your unique brand of magic. For real, we think too much. We forget that we're already enough. There's nothing we have to do. We are already enough in this moment. The biggest message for me is really self-love. Like, this is your center point. When you know yourself, when you've been through battles to own yourself, and you had to lose some people along the way, and choosing yourself is in the end, this is where you understand and grasp that you love yourself and you're not settling for anything else that doesn't vibe with you. Quand devine me désir, m'a pour faire toi, causer, rire, lever, danser, rêver, vibrer.
Little icebreaker. Hi, Gaëlle. Welcome to Figuring Out. We're laughing because we've had to change the setup and move again because of some traffic and noise. But here we are recording, and Ryan says that's take 3. So take 3. Let's go again. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me.
Really, really excited to have you. And when I met you and I gave you a hug, as I said to you, I had a little fangirl moment because I do love your music, and I've been listening to you from London, and that's how I connected with you and Cedric, who's behind this whole organisation. Let's start with hearing from you. Who's Gaëlle?
All right. So I'm a singer. I'm an artist. I'm a composer and a performer. And I have not always been like a performing artist, but I started in 2019. Like a career out of music. I had to do like a few sacrifices just to be able to choose this path and embody it completely. But yeah, I grew up in a family who are not musicians, not singers, but they just love music. So there was just always music around me. And yeah, here I am doing what I love most.
Quite jealous. I think not many people can really say that they're doing what they love the most. So great for you. Quite jealous here.
Here you are doing Figure It Out.
Yeah, hopefully. So let's talk about the whole journey. You started in 2019, so that was like, 5 years ago, right? In 5 years, you've become quite a public figure. People know about your music. You've had one album, out of which a few songs blew up. And as you said, your word earlier, it rocketed. What was the path from the age of, I think when we were having a chat earlier, you mentioned that your dad was really the one behind you, pushing you at the age of 7.
Yes.
At the age of 7, when you have your parents say, you're the best singer, does it get to you? Do you have that realization? Because that's still a very young age.
Yeah, at 7, you just want to have fun, really, even at 28. So yeah, I was just minding my business, and my parents were like, yeah, let's just put her in that musical contest. Let them do that, because I have 2 older brothers as well. And they will make us like try different instruments and try different sports and mingle with different groups of people and community. They were really like open-minded. So I did that first contest at 7, and it was a catastrophe.
Was it?
It was a total catastrophe because I just wanted to have fun.
Okay.
And
do you remember what you sang?
I sang a song by Jean-Jacques Goldman
Okay.
called J'irai au bout de mes rêves.
I love that song.
And this is what I'm actually doing.
Love it.
Yeah, going to the end of my dreams, and that song obviously was chosen by my parents at some point. And yeah, I just grew up in this most loving and supportive family. Even though I didn't believe in any talent or whatever that I had, my dad was like, you're the best singer, you're the best swimmer, you're the best girl, just do your best. And yeah, I guess this is how I thrived.
This is how you thrived. When you went for that contest, and then you said you went for your schooling, your education, you said you had still a very academic background, right?
Yeah, so I had to fulfill these academic paths as well, just to have it cleared out at some point, because my parents were really cool, but they were not joking about education. So I did like all my academic thing. I went to the university, I studied political science, and when I started working after that, and this was the time when I was working in a corporate job that I was like, all right, I'm at a crossroad right now. Am I staying here, do this, which I knew like the question was hell no, or I just get out there and pursue my dream, and that was an easy choice to make, but which came with a lot of sacrifices, a lot of hard work. You're just entirely up to yourself, girl. You gotta do the things. But I got a lot of support as well from my team, from Cedric. We just grew through the years and we just got better and better and better. No regrets.
Let's go back to your album. So I'm probably going to ask this question for the third time. Yes. I know the answer. The audience doesn't know the answer. Of your first album, 16 songs, you say they were all quite experimental. And then there were a few of them that really, really appealed to the Mauritian public, the international audience as well. What was your favorite from that?
Yeah, so we were saying that I was just getting to know myself through this whole album. It was like a journey into discovering what kind of music I love and what kind of music I want to play, because this is kind of like a right balance that you have to choose along the way. And so we were always influenced by that pop scene, because I grew up listening to like Robbie Williams, Coldplay. I loved that British pop culture. And then I collaborated with different artists from here that got me more rooted into traditions and my culture as a Mauritian.
Who were some of the artists you collaborated with?
The big one was Emmanuel Desroches.
Okay.
So we had like a lovely musical journey together, still going strong. And yeah, he just exposed me to a different part of myself, of my roots. And yeah, so grateful for that. Forever. So to answer your question, my favorite song of this whole experimental album that I can't believe people are still listening to is Remember Me, because it's just got that feeling of new beginnings. It's the song that rocketed us at some point, that put us in the music scene here in Mauritius. So it will always carry this special feeling, even if it's not the most listened song or whatever. For me, it's just right here.
And I think like through your music, there's been different themes that you've been targeting, right? There's like the Mauritian, the Mauritianism, if that's even a word.
It is.
Or we're going to make up a word.
We'll work it out.
We'll make up Mauritianism. There's that spirit of being Mauritian through your music. There's womanhood. There's different themes that you've been talking about. I feel like whenever we're experimenting something, I mean, with the podcast, I'm still trying to find my way. And then eventually there's a theme that's coming out and I'm still trying to put my finger on it. With your music, I'm kind of wondering if over time you've realized that there's a theme that you feel more connected to, that you're trying to portray through your music.
Yeah, I don't think you have to look for it too hard or think about it too hard. I guess you know it. You know it for yourself and for all the things you're putting forward in this podcast. It's called Figure It Out. You'll figure it out. But don't think too much. And as for me, the fuel of everything I've ever done is love, and may it be romantic or just the love you pour to your friends, to your family, like unconditional love, really, and peace. So this is really what has always motivated me, and behind all my songs is just this long line of loving what I do and wanting to share about what I actually love. Like the Mauritian people, they are incredible. Like we just have this warmth inside of us that we will travel, we will go anywhere, and we'll be like, damn, we got that sun inside of us.
We do. I love this.
This is something we should be so proud of. So I just love singing about it. I love singing about, all these different stories and things happening on the daily on this island, like the lifestyle. But yeah, like my fil conducteur is always love.
It's always love. Is this where you draw your inspiration, like your day-to-day, like mingling around, talking to Mauritians? Is this where you draw your inspiration from, or is there something else that we, the audience, do not know about?
So it's mostly about what or how I feel like doing or talking about, like what kind of message I want to share right now. So songs like Sakinule, I really wanted to put like the Mauritian people forward. And we went for a 3-day trip around the island and just went into the locals' house and just invited ourselves when they were having picnics on the beach. They were just, yeah, come, let's have a biryani, let's do that. They were like, am I going to be on the video? I better be.
I love this. And did they know you by then? Because, this was the making of the first album, right? Did people know you already? Or were they just like, yeah, whatever you're doing, just come and join us?
No, most of us, like, people don't know me.
You'll be surprised. I think Ryan and I will probably disagree, but you'll be surprised.
No, I will stumble upon people in the most random places. Like one time I was in Australia, and that was last year, and I really wanted to go to the bathroom, but I was in the city of Perth, no bathroom or whatever. And then I got into a corridor, but it was dark. It was like...
I don't know. I feel like, I'm like, where's this going? Okay, tell me.
I was like, if someone wants to kill me now, I'm dead, Like, there's no one around. I went to the bathroom, and then somebody followed me, and I was like, okay, goodbye life. It was a good time. Okay. But it was actually not that. I got out, and there was a girl, and I was like, oh, she seems like a nice girl. I'm going to ask her my way because I'm lost. I'm always lost. And she's like, are you Annega? I'm like, what? I'm like so far from home, lost in Perth. Yes, I'm Annega.
That's beautiful.
But yeah, it's always funny to see where your music or who your music actually reach or how far. But I always think that I'm super simple. Like, if you know me, that's good. If you don't know me, well, hello, I'm Annega. But yeah, it's not a big deal, really.
It's amazing how they really say, like, music does travel, right?
For real.
Yeah.
You never know.
You never know. What's the instrument that you're always playing?
It's called a maravan.
Okay.
It's a percussion. And in Mauritius, it's called a maravan. In Reunion, it's a kayamb. It's the same thing. But the one I have is a kayamb. And yeah, it's just got the nice rhythms. It's easy to play. And I love it. It's always with me.
It's always with you. Hence the question, like, how did you pick that instrument? Because if we go back to Mauritian music, like Sega's the known thing about Mauritian, your music, and by all means do correct my words, I'm not a musical expert, but for me it sounds like a fusion of languages, a fusion of different instruments that you've introduced to the local scene. And the instrument that you play, the kayamb, as you say, it's always with you. So I did wonder, like, how did you pick it? Is that something you played when you were little? I think no.
Not at all.
So where did you pick it? How did you pick it? Why do you resonate so much with it?
I think it's kind of the instrument of my generation. There's a lot of upcoming artists as well, like Melanie Perez, Emmeline, who plays that instrument, and then it's a common thing in Réunion, like most of them, like Maya Kamati, Gran Seme. It's just like a really fascinating instrument, and it's got that 6/8 rhythm. And yeah, I was like, I need to learn to play it and incorporate it in my music. That was the missing piece.
Was it easy to start learning?
I said it was easy, but it was not. It was not easy. But it took me like maybe a couple of weeks, and I had a deadline. I work best when I have deadlines. Like, we were meant to go to Geneva for a show, and Cedric, my producer, was like, you need to learn the kayamb. Bye. I was like, okay. So another musician, a friend of mine, Achille, he showed me how to play it. He was dedicated. I was dedicated. So we couldn't fail. It took me like 2 weeks maybe. And then I was in Geneva. I was like the coolest kayamb
Is that
player.
like 2 weeks?
2 weeks, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm thinking about, I don't know, you probably take a lifetime to learn the piano as an example. I was like, okay.
For real.
Yeah.
Yeah,
For real.
it's different. It's different.
Okay. And then you've had your second album quite recently.
Yes, it's in the making. So we're working
Right.
on a second album right now.
So the song Ocean or Océan.
L'Océan, yeah, it's going to be part of that second album.
Okay, but L'Océan has already come out.
L'Océan is out.
It's out.
Yes.
It's got a blue vibe, obviously L'Océan, but it also has one intriguing fact that I surprisingly didn't pick on. I think until I started seeing people commenting on it.
Yeah.
And apparently, to explain the process, because I'm really fascinated, you sung the lyrics in a reverse order.
Exactly.
Okay.
I'm guilty.
Explain the process, the thinking process behind it, and two, how do you sing in reverse order?
Okay, so I owe that part to the creative team behind the conception of the music video, which is Orit World. And so we wrote that song with Cedric, thinking about how we can make people more conscious about preserving our ocean, because we love the beach. We live on an island where we're surrounded by the blue. But every time we go to the beach, you have like pollution here, and people don't really respect like beans, or maybe there are not correct beans, like proper beans at the beach or things like that. So we were like, we must write a song about that, just like a positive message, so that we can all, raise that frequency, and that everyone is happy to protect what we have, which is like responsible for 50% of the oxygen we breathe. So we brought the song to Orit, and cool guys, really dedicated. And we started thinking about different things that influence like the health of our marine environment, and they thought about corals.
Okay.
And one simple thing that we do every day, and we're not really conscious about that, is like using toxic sunscreen to go to the beach. We're not aware of that because we haven't been educated on that. I even didn't know that there are creams that are better adaptable to the ocean. And so we developed this whole concept about using ocean-friendly, reef-friendly cream. And in the music video, as you can see, they're just pouring
salt and paint,
lotion and paint on me, and as that message. But yeah, singing backwards, because they were like, we're just not going to throw paint on you. It's too easy. We're gonna make you sing in reverse and dance and learn some choreographies and do all this shit.
So for instance, I am going to the beach as a sentence. Was it like, I am going to the beach the too? was that it? Like, I mean, I say was that it as it sounds easy.
No, that wasn't like that. So going to the beach, it was it didn't make sense.
It's even more complicated.
Yeah. I thought it was that easy, but it was not. It was just all these words in reverse that didn't make sense.
Right.
And But when put back in the normal thing, it sounded
Perfect.
crazy.
And you were soaked in paint. How long did it take you to clean yourself?
The whole music video took 24 hours. From 5 in the morning to 5 the next day. We didn't spare any hour. We just kept going. And I was just being thrown paint in the face and in the body all day and washing myself and then back again. It was like the most intensive music video process of my whole life. But I guess the one I'm most proud of in terms of creativity and in terms of message behind.
Is this one?
I guess it's this one, yeah.
I certainly didn't know. I mean, I guess it makes sense because there's so many eco-friendly products now, but I certainly didn't think about SPF being one of the detriment to the marine life.
Yeah.
Because you'd imagine that it's meant, or selfishly, it's meant to be good for your skin and for your protection.
Yeah, but for sure you need to keep protecting yourself when you go to the beach, but just choosing like ocean-friendly, reef-friendly products, because the one who are not friendly to the ocean, they contribute to the bleaching of corals.
Right.
And then the corals die, and then we die as well.
It's all connected, right?
100%.
Sticking to musical journey, when you think about your passion, which has now become a profession,
Yep.
how do you see the music industry in Mauritius? Because we've obviously grown up with the Michel Legree, like there's been so many singers, and now we have obviously singers of our generation. It's new concepts, it's fusion of different instruments, languages. Do you find it an easy industry to thrive in Mauritius? Or do you think it could be better because we need some sort of support, whether that's, the government, the private sector? How do you think about the Mauritian music industry?
This is a tricky question because there's lots of good things and there's a lot of things that can be improved, you know, and the music industry, if I can say that there is a music industry in Mauritius, it's kind of evolving. A lot of new artists stepping out with different genres and sharing like different messages, sometimes not really about like positive messages, more about, like sex, drugs, and whatever comes to their mind. But I guess this is quite their reality and what they're trying to portray, and maybe try to influence people in knowing what's happening, like different sides of society. And this is a good thing as well, maybe, just to, like, everyone needs, like, the artists will share, obviously, who they are and what they've been through and what they're living right now.
I sense a but.
It's not a but it's quite, it's a complicated topic just to talk about, because I'm still trying to understand. It makes sense, though. It can't always be about like love and happiness, because people are suffering as well. So that's why I guess it's good to be sharing those kinds of messages as well, but not to take anything too personally.
Right.
So to get back to your question, there is space for anyone and everyone in the music industry. There are a lot of professionals, there are a lot of good engineers and people who are working really hard to make it to give it like a good standard for artists who just wants to have a good performance, and it depends on a lot of things like sounds, lights, music venues, and everyone is just doing what they can and bringing like their little stone, their little contribution to make it thrive. So as compared to 10 years ago, there's definitely been an evolution, and I just hope that it just keep like going like that, and emerging artists as well can have the chance to travel abroad with their music thanks to the government, thanks to private sectors. These are things happening, like private sectors are really contributing to to the advancement of art and culture, which is like a great thing. Government
for sure.
is doing their part as well. Obviously, there's always more that can be done. So this is quite a thriving industry with a lot of different things. And this is art, you know, it's meant to disrupt what you feel comfortable about and just make you question everything about life. So yeah, I'm just grateful. It's like a nice ecosystem.
Yeah, I love the bits where you talk about change being uncomfortable, because it could also be a good thing, but makes you uncomfortable.
Yeah, I guess when you're uncomfortable or when you fear or when you're anxious, it's just like the universe touching you like that and saying, it's time to grow.
Keep going in this.
Yeah.
Speaking of art, I was looking at your tattoos earlier.
Mm-hmm.
This wasn't planned, but can we talk about your tattoos? I'm quite intrigued. You said the one on your left arm.
Yeah.
That was the very first one you have.
So that was the very first one. As soon as I was 18, I was like, gonna own that bad girl spirit and, and do my first tattoo. And that was not really badass because my dad, he took me to the tattoo artist. But yeah, I was still bad girl. And this is one. This one, I got with this one the same year.
Mm-hmm.
I was like really doubting myself at that point and thinking if the way that I'm going as an artist is the right one. And when I stumbled upon this quote that said, there's no right way. Take the pressure off and focus on your unique brand of magic. For real, we think too much.
Do you think?
We forget that we're already enough. There's nothing we have to do. We are already enough in this moment. And I think that our generation is starting gradually to understand that, you know, self-love is not an old concept or things like that. It's just you need to embrace who you are and be confident with yourself. It's an ever-going journey. So this one was really about owning myself and my talent and not comparing myself to others' path, because comparison is really the thief of joy in any field. So just accept where you are and be happy with what you got. This is like a heart for like gratitude is a magnet for miracles. You know that quote? Mm-hmm. Like as for me, gratitude is the beginning and end of everything. Like just be grateful and you'll attract everything that's meant for you, everything that you desire. And these two came last year.
Okay.
This is my little internal home.
Okay, I love this.
So I just remember to come back to myself whenever I feel too triggered by life or by people. I just know that I have a space. I am whole. I don't need anyone or anything else. I just know that. I have a weird way of just tattooing everything.
It's on you, right? Like you feel
yeah. I need to be reminded, right?
Right. You seem very connected and very plugged in with your emotions.
It took me a long time, you know, to learn myself and to learn about the importance of being grounded and knowing yourself so that you just don't get triggered by everything happening around you.
It sounds easier said than done.
Yeah, it sounds easier.
I almost want to say, what would be your message to people listening to us? Because you sit here and very composed and with a lot of positivity and good energy radiating from you.
You too, you know.
Oh, that's sweet. And then you talk about your musical journey, which I'm sure wasn't very easy, because I think for me, when I think about song composition, it takes a lot of thinking, a lot of writing. I suppose you must be spending a lot of time having your own space and spending a lot of time on your own, thinking about what you want to convey to the world. Mm-hmm. And I suppose with the musical journey, it takes a lot of ups and downs. Could be somehow an emotional journey.
For
and
sure.
you're very plugged in with your emotions. And I really like the part where you mentioned having the resilience not to be triggered by everything in life. And I don't know if that's easy for everyone.
No, it's not easy. Even if you understood the concept, you will always get triggered.
Right.
But I heard that triggered is just fear showing you another path for growth, you know. Being triggered is actually good for you, even if it's shit. It doesn't feel good, but it's good for your growth and your evolution. It took me some time to stop resisting growth, resisting change. And it's just recently that I was like, I can't keep up like that. I can't just be in a bad mood or not like selling myself short or feeling small. Like I don't want that energy anymore. And I think it's just deciding about what you want to embody, even if you're not there yet. Just pretending that you're there.
Okay.
And the biggest message for me is really self-love. Like, this is your center point. When you know yourself, when you've been through battles to own yourself, and you had to, maybe lose some people along the way, and choosing yourself, always in the end, this is where you understand and grasp that you love yourself and that you're not settling for anything else that doesn't vibe with you. So forget about being triggered. Just focus about loving yourself, and everything else will come along the way.
Okay.
Just love yourself.
This is why I love this podcast so much, because I feel like I definitely self-doubt myself so many times, and I feel like I need to hear it from people. I need to hear that everyone is sort of going through the same thing, but there's a way to cultivate that mindset and embody the whole self-love conversation.
Yes. And it's already here. There's no walls to break. There's no like traveling around the world on a boat to find meaning. It's not about that. It's just right here. If you just stop and listen to your heart. And by listening to your heart, I mean like the beat of your heart. Whenever you feel like you're doing good, your heart is going to be at peace. And things like that. It's just listening to your body and cheering for yourself, Don't get in your own way. That is important as well.
Don't get in your own way. I'll try and remember that.
Root for you. You are the one who got all the keys for it. You can do anything. You can do anything. Like, for real. Everything is so possible when you believe in yourself. Like
little therapy, free therapy talk here. And changing gears a little bit, what is the one thing that you like doing outside of the time that you spend writing and singing?
I love going to the beach. That's my passion.
Good passion to have.
That's my hobby. And just long walks. That's really therapy. Sometimes I love talking to myself as well.
Do you?
I have to put earphones on and pretend I'm on the phone with someone just to be able to talk with myself in peace.
Okay. Like in public, or you just at home in your private space?
In public. At home. I live alone, so I can just talk to myself. Nobody cares. But when I have like long walks at the beach, I will just pretend I'm on the phone. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. And is this like your reflection time? And
yeah.
Okay.
I've learned that in order to understand an emotion, you have to put a word on it, and then to dismantle it and understand where is it coming from, why are you feeling it, and what can you do to soothe it. It's about self-soothing. So during my long walks, I will just talk about these different emotions with myself. I love psychology. I wish I studied psychology. I was like, since I'm so little, it was just psychology, but I did political science. But I'm still young. Maybe I'm going to go into psychology at some point.
You're incorporating it in your music?
For real. Yeah. I love like all this self-growth and things like that. It's just what fuels me.
Now that we're getting to the end of the podcast, and by all means, this is something that we can cut out if you're not comfortable talking about. But I did want to ask, and I do like hearing from my guests, more about the personal journey as well. Thinking about womanhood and where you're at in your life, what are some of the things that you're aspiring to? What are some of the things that are important to you at this moment in life? think about personal relationship, or is it just music, 100% music? That's your focus right now?
So music is the biggest focus for real because it's life. It's my life. But as well, it made me meet so many people along the way as well. And yeah, so we just gotta keep grinding and going in this direction, because everything I've ever dreamt of was accomplished through music. Like I met my music idol through music, Chris Martin from Coldplay. I had like a big talk with him. That was lovely. Okay. Yes. And I met my partner through music. And yeah, so I think it's just about being authentic and just keep rolling and living your most authentic life. Just keep the things coming, you know?
Okay. If you were to speak to the 7-year-old Annega, when your dad would say you're the best singer, how do you feel about this now today?
I am just so lucky to have the most supportive parents again, you know? And it would have turned out differently if I didn't have that support from the start. And throughout my journey, through the different people I met, Cedric, who is a big part of my journey, where we built everything together. And we still have a long way to go and a lot of interesting projects to come. So I would just thank my parents for believing in me. I would thank Cedric for being that steady foundation, you know, and bringing all these beautiful projects forward and fighting for this message that we want to share. And so we have that second album coming, and we're planning on touring the world, really.
Come to London. I'll be there cheering.
We will. Say it like that. We will.
Okay, we're manifesting it together.
Yes. So there's just so many things to do. I'm just so grateful to be on this path right now and not have given up, you know, because it would have been easy to give up. And yes, happy and grateful.
Happy and grateful. I love this bee. Annega, we're going to be selfish here. Can we part with you singing a little thing for us?
Oh, what do you want to hear?
What do you want to hear? My favorite one is Nutizil, but I'll let you pick.
All right, let me think. Let me think about something. I would have sang something from the second album, but then I just saw Cedric's face was like...
Don't give it away.
Don't. Okay, so
something that you're working on, right?
Yeah, I would have loved to be able to do that, but his face is just stuck in my head right now. So maybe
he sounded nice on email, but
you gotta meet him. He's really nice.
Yeah,
he's really nice, but he's really focused, you know, and he's got something in mind. So maybe Nutizil for you.
Okay.
And for all the Mauritians seeing us right now and around the world, just know that this song is yours and it will always be, really. So, refrain?
Allez.
Quand devine le Nutizil, m'a pouffé à toi, causer, rire, lever, danser, rêver, vibrer. Quand devine le Nutizil, m'a pouffé à toi, causer, rire, lever, danser, rêver, vibrer.
Ah, bravo!
Thank you! And this is one of my favorite songs to sing with the public, you know? We would just know all the songs and sing out loud. This is like the blessings.
You know, I should show you my Spotify. It's one of my my favorite song in the morning when I'm like, especially on the weekends and like breakfast time. That's the one I play. I love that song.
Thank you.
Annega, thank you so much for being on here today. You have no idea how excited I was to meet you. Also had such a really nice chat. You were one of the persons I did really want to interview for a really long time. Thank you for making the time from Flac to Granby.
Yes. Always on the road.
And we will look out for your second song or more songs as part of the second album.
Yes, thank you so much for having me, Gemma. That was a real pleasure. And I'll see over of your podcast online.
Okay.
Figure it out.
And I'll wait for you in London.
For sure.